Calibrating cybernetics.
Talk to him now.
AT, Andre.
Come on, Dre.
Yep. Trippin with Let's Go. Woo! Trippin with Theobold.
What's your name?
Theobold.
Yeah.
Driggity. Let's go. Trippin with Theobold. Trippin.
What are we doing?
Trippin with Theobold.
Come on, Dre.
See, mic check 1 2. We on? Y'all can you hear me? Let me make sure I'm good. Let me make sure my audio is good. Hey, what's up, y'all, and welcome to the 92nd episode. Let me do a mic check. Yeah, we good. Hey, what's up, y'all, and welcome to the 92nd episode of Trippin with Theobold. I'm your host, Andre Theobold. Got a lot we got to get into today, So before we go any further, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell a friend to tell a friend, do all that fun internet stuff like the old people say. As y'all can see right now, y'all can see where I'm at, right? Yeah. I keep forgetting to do this. Let me make sure I plug myself on social media, so in case I get a few stragglers that want to come in and join the show, they can. So let me go ahead and do that right quick. Go ahead, just give me a seconds, guys. Give me a few seconds. All right. Hey, what's going on, y'all? Your boy Andre Theobold here. Come check me out on Trippin with Theobold from behind the green curtain. I ain't like how that sounded. All right. See, this is practice, right? This is why we got to do this, right? Practice. Practice makes practice or perfect. We're not trying to be perfect here, but we are. But you guys get it. Hey, what's going on, y'all? As y'all can see, your man is here from behind the green curtain. Come and tune in. Boy, Andre Theobold on Trippin with Theobold. On right now. Come check me out. Hey, that. Of course, I got to plug it. We get the link. It's a lot of stuff you got to do, man. A lot of little things you got to do. So here we go. I'm live right now. Go ahead and copy my link. There we go. Share. Link. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Link. Boom. Done. And phone. So out that. And it's uploading right now as we speak. So here we go, guys. Here we go. As y'all can see, on the dock of the Riverboat, or of a riverboat, a lot happened this past week, and we're gonna talk about it. Also, this week was a real rough week for me, man. I didn't have AC for about a week, and then on top of that, my power went out for a day or two. So I'm just getting my bearings straight. So thank y'all for being patient, and I'm grateful that I could bring you today's show. All right, this is a 92nd episode of Trippin with Old. Like I said for the millionth time here. So let's go ahead and get to some tongue twisties. Start the show off. We gotta make sure that we coordinate it. Here we go. About to pull up my nation phone photos. And then transition. So here we go, guys. So since today is the 11th of August, we're gonna do tongue twisties and start with the 11th letter of, I said 11th, the 11th letter of the alphabet, which is K. So you can read along with me, or you can watch me struggle. Choice is up to you. But why not get in on this? Here we go. First one, Kinky Kite Kits. Kinky Kite Kits. Kinky Kite Kits. Kinky Kite Kits. kinky kite kits, kinky kite kits. Number 2, a knapsack strap, a knapsack strap, a knapsack strap. One more again, a knapsack strap, a knapsack strap, a knapsack strap. Third time, a knapsack strap, a knapsack strap, a knapsack strap. 3, kick 6 sticks quick, kick 6 sticks quick, kick 6 sticks quick. 3, kitten in the kitchen, kitten in the kitchen, kitten in the kitchen. Kiss her quick, kiss her quick, kiss her quick. Boom. So we got those out the way. Tongue twisters are done. So now my mouth is all warmed up. Pause. You know, we got my brain and my tongue coordinated. So there'll be less trippage because we gonna trip. Right? Hence the name of the show, Trippin with Theobold. So since this is episode number 92 of Trippin with Theobold, I gotta go ahead and get my Buffalo Bill up here. So today's episode is tied to none other than Mr. number 92 himself, the big Ted Washington. Ted Washington of the Buffalo Bills. Big dude, man. This is probably one of the biggest players in the history of the NFL. Nose tackle, gridiron legend, 6'5", 375 pounds. Come on, Dre. 6'5", 375 pounds. This dude was an immovable force. Like he was a nose tackle, so he just would fall forward and clog up that run game. You know, Ted Washington did a lot for the Bills. I believe he came onto the Bills in 95, I think it was. It was after the Super Bowl era. He played with Flutie and Eric Moulds and them. 6'5", 375 pounds of just man. And then after that, he went to the Patriots and got them a ringer 3 or whatever it was. So, you know, anywho, number 92, Ted Washington, Buffalo Bills. I think he went to Louisville, bounced around the league for a little bit, but Buffalo didn't draft him. I think he came, who did he get drafted by? I think he got drafted by the Niners, and then he went to the Broncos, I think, and then went to the Bills from 95 to 2000. And he was on that number 2 ranked defense when Flutie and the squad was supposed to win the Super Bowl that year. You know, because we had the number 2 ranked defense, and we were going up against the greatest, or we didn't even get to make it, because that was the year of the Music City Miracle, right? So I think Buffalo could have won the Super Bowl that year, but that's just me. Anywho, for 92, Ted Washington, episode is tied to him, too. So boom. Well, let's go ahead and get into what we are talking about. Let me go ahead and first, I don't need this up anymore, so I want to go ahead and, let me actually, messed up. Let me go ahead and get back to my YouTube right quick. And I got 2 people watching. If you in here, give me a holler, man. Say what's up. Say what's up to your boy. Let me go ahead and gotta copy the chat. I forgot to do this before the show started. I gotta copy the chat out so I can see who's checking in on little old me. This over, and then we gotta go to YouTube. There we go. That way I don't have to keep switching back and forth. See who's checking in on little old me. There we go. So we good. We in here. All right. So let's go ahead and get into what we're going to talk about today. I know right now I got 78 subs on YouTube, which is dope. You know, I like that. But I won't be surprised if I lose a sub or 3 after this episode. Not going to speak it into existence, but I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot I want to talk about. Who's this that just said something here? That was me. I said I'll be on in a second. That's me. That's me responding to myself. Okay, so yeah. So I want to talk about the events in Montgomery, Alabama last week. Had an unfortunate incident happen. And I don't know, I felt kind of weird about what I was seeing. I felt like I felt weird about what I saw and the reactions I was seeing on social media. So, you know, I figured I'd just come here and say, you know what, let me go and put my thoughts out here one time. Let me speak on it and keep moving. All right. So, I don't even know where to start with this, but I'm just gonna jump in. All right. So I encourage y'all, if you guys make sure you guys watch the whole video. Don't just take pieces and splices of what I say. Even though some of y'all probably gonna do that because that's what y'all do. Y'all like to look for stuff and do whatever. But here's what kind of like made me like a little made me feel a certain type of way, right? What made me feel some type of way is like I felt like we were in like a celebratory mode, right? Like, um, like there was some positive that came out of it. Let me go and start with that, right? So the fact that Black people came together to look out for one another, to protect one another, that was dope, so the fact that, that happened to me, that was dope. But on social media, I feel like there was a lot of jokes, a lot of things were funny, a lot of memes were funny, but nobody really talked about other angles. And I'm trying to use this as an opportunity to, like learn from, so we can improve upon certain situations or improve upon certain situations to get what it is that we want. I feel like I kind of said a lot right there. Let me go back and rephrase that. I feel like there's a lot that can be learned from the videos that were captured from the Riverboat incident. Like me, I'm always trying to self-improve, get better. That's just me, right? So let me put this disclaimer out here. I'm not trying to start no violence. I ain't trying to start no shit. I'm not trying to if anything, I'm trying to, to squash things, I guess, if you want to say that. I mean, I'm only one little person, but a lot of people are in their emotions. They riled up. They think they're ready for a war. Nah. I'm trying to like stay away from all that, war is like the last thing that I want to see happen to anybody, cause I know some people that served in war, they were in combat and they seen a lot of shit, and war, like, to see what it does to people that make it back, it's like, nah, it ain't worth all that. So hence I'm making this video to help, stir about some serious conversations that need to be had to make sure that we are all on code with respect to what can happen in the future. All right. So that was kind of my disclaimer. So let me go ahead and move forward. All right. So what's interesting is I gathered more information about that Riverboat incident. Before I even get into that, let me go ahead and just get this off the bat, right? So the white people in that boat that wouldn't move that boat down, they how should I put it? There was nothing positive that can be gained. There was nothing positive that they did, right? There was nothing. They were not in the right in anything. Go ahead and get that off the bat. Those hillbillies were wrong. All right. A lot of white people, here's the thing, right? I don't like to like lump people into one category, right? So what happens is from my perspective, a lot of white people, or some white, here's the thing, right? You got people that subscribe to white privilege, and then you got those that don't. But basically white people can always subscribe to it, and what we saw on display there was an example of white privilege. So here's the thing, right? I worked in corporate America across the country, for 16, 17-ish years. And I'm not gonna say all white people I'm not gonna say all white people subscribe to white privilege, but everywhere I've been in all companies, there's been at least one white person that has subscribed to white privilege, right? So, and it's a mindset and it's an attitude, and I think that other white people need to check white people when it happens, because if you don't check them when it happens, then you just as guilty, you know. So, for example, one thing I've seen in all my companies is I've seen like there'll be like a white person that comes in. It could be most of the time it's a white male, right? They'll come in and they'll come in like they're friends and they're trying to be cool with everybody, and they'll be like, "Hey guys, hey, what's going on?" Like a week or two will go by, and then they'll come up with all these great processes that we need to follow to help make us more efficient. They'll be like, "Hey guys, I've been watching, I've been looking at us, and I think we can work more efficient. I think if we follow these guidelines and follow these rules, I think that everything will be a lot easier for us, and we just need everyone to buy into it, right?" And then you buy into it, you start doing it, and a couple months go by, and then the dude that made the rules or came up with this grandiose idea, he not following the shit. So then when you call him out on it, it's this attitude of, "Hey buddy, who the fuck do you think you are, huh? Don't tell me what to do. I fucking made the rules. I can do what I want. Fuck out of here," right? It's that attitude, right? It's the attitude that they came in and they can make the rules and they can do what the fuck they want, and they can talk down to people. Like that shit got to stop, man. Like I have my own ways how I deal with that, right? Like me personally, like I've had my come on, Dre. I've had a few run-ins with some white privileged people, and one thing I know what I do that I don't do is, because here's the thing, right? When I go to my job and I go to work, I'm trying to get paid. That's my ultimate goal, is to walk out, get this check, get the fuck on, right? Real simple. But whenever you have white people that come in and they have that colonizer mindset, I take note of it, but I make sure that I know who I'm dealing with. The 48 laws of power, know who you're dealing with. So what I do is typically I speak in third person about the process not being followed. So if someone's like, "Hey, why is this not working, or what's going on? Why is this mess?" I'll typically just refer back to a set of actions. I'll say, "Hey, look, per these actions, the process was not followed. This is why, you have the results that you're getting." And then I let whoever else go figure out who it is and track that person down. But I'm not the one to go point the finger at them, because I know how that shit gonna go. All right. But anywho, so them hillbillies on that boat, they were wrong, man. Like that shit was there was nothing. So I gather I actually watched like the news conference with the police chief of Montgomery, and what I saw was, basically I'm basically still gathering information, but from what I understood, is the hillbillies in that boat, like they were allowed to dock there, right? Like they were not, there was no trespassing going on from what the police chief information, from what I gathered from the report. What happened was, according to that report, is there's this big riverboat that carries like 200 plus passengers, and it's a known tour that's been going on for years. And they have a designated post to where they can park their boat at, and there's supposed to be signs and demarcations that basically tell or that say where the boat, or that, hey, this spot is for this boat. Per the report of the police chief, those signs were not there. But people, it was just general common knowledge that that boat, like that's their place to park. So the what was it? The co-captain of the big boat, right? Because there were 3 boats involved, right? I didn't even know that. I didn't know there were 3 boats involved, right? There's the big boat that had the 200 plus passengers on it. Then there was the ferry boat that basically transported the co-captain to the dock to talk to the hillbillies in the little small boat, right? So the co-captain is the one that got that is the one that threw the hat up in the air, right? So I thought it was the security guard. That's not a security guard. That was the co-captain of the boat. So come to find out, there was a white teenager on the ferry boat that escorted or that transported the co-captain to the docks, and the white boy got assaulted that was on that boat, right? But no one's really talking about all that either, right? I mean, everyone no one's really. I'm not saying that people have to, but I didn't know that. So, but what I did gather from the report that the police chief, or that the police report came out, was that the co-captain was trying to get them to move the boat down. So it wasn't that their boat couldn't be there. It was just they need to move the boat down so the big boat could fit in, right? When I first saw the story, I thought that the little boat couldn't park there, but it could. It just had to move down, and it was a situation where both boats could have fit, right? That's the thing that's stupid. Both boats could have fit. Then it turned into all this. So the white people on the little boat, you know, they were throwing up like all these all these like mean gestures, and they were cussing at the boat. And common sense would have told you, hey, look, if you see a big boat coming in with 200 people and they got to get off and get docked so they can get the next group of people on the boat, then if I could move my boat down just a little bit so that boat could fit, why not do it, right? That's that white privilege shit. You know what I'm saying? So white people that subscribe to white privilege, man, y'all gotta cut that shit out, man. That shit is like real petty. It's childish. Like grow up. All right. So black people, we are the Rasheed Wallaces of the United States. Fix my chair. We are the Rasheed Wallaces of the United States. What do I mean by that? So I'm a big sports fan. I watch a lot of basketball. I watch a lot of hoop. Rasheed Wallace was a legendary, great basketball player from Philly. Went to North Carolina. Supposed to go to Temple, I think, but he went to North Carolina, and great player, man. And when he was in the league, it was him versus the refs and the other team. Like, there were special rules for Rasheed Wallace, and I hated that shit. It sucked watching somebody have a whole set of different rules apply to them when they didn't do anything, right? So, like, he would come down to. I remember there were times where if the ref made a call and if he made a face like he didn't agree with the call, they would tee his ass up, and that's how it is being black in this country. Like, the rules, there are special rules for us, or special ways that they get enforced, like, towards us, and we got to be mindful of that. You know what I'm saying? So, so when I was on social media seeing all the posts, like, at first I'm like, okay, this shit is funny, it's funny, it's funny. But then when you're watching it, it's just a flood of just all the. It's like everyone and their mom think they're a comedian now, right? Everyone's trying to make funny posts, right? And that's cool, but no one really sat to really gather like the facts to really say, okay, like where can we improve upon that? Because if the chips are stacked against us, we got to play the game smarter. We can't. I'm not speaking in terms of war, but for a better lack of terms or not, basically you don't want to lose the war at the expense of a battle, right? Right. And what I mean by that is not the physical part of it, but just, I'm talking about more of the behavioral aspect things, like we don't want to be in a situation where, we win a little victory, but we forget about the bigger picture. Like the way people are reacting is they're reacting like, racism is over. It's like, nah, this shit probably gonna like spike after this, and are we in the right mindset? So going back to us being the Rasheed Wallaces of the US, we got to know that certain rules are going to get enforced harder on us because we black. You know what I mean? So people may watch this video and be like, man, you sound like a coon, shut the fuck up. I don't give a fuck. I'm looking at things from a whole different angle, right? Because you can't be in these streets being all emotional and expecting things to work in your favor just off pure emotion. You gotta be smart. You gotta think. You gotta think 3-4 steps ahead. That's where I come in. All right. So for my day job, right? A lot of y'all might not know this, but I'm a system engineer and I basically deal with requirements, right? Requirements. That's what I do. Right. And requirements are basically rules. I wouldn't even say rules. They're basically for a better lack of word, they're basically rules that govern how a system is supposed to work, and it takes into account corner conditions and special case scenarios so that things don't blow up. All right, just go with that and take that for that right now, right? So when it comes to requirements, I know how to write things in a way to get the intended result. So the more I looked into this whole Riverboat situation, like I said, I don't have all the facts. I'm still gathering all the information, but this is how I'm thinking, right? A big reason why things happened the way they did on Saturday was, one, you had privileged white motherfuckers that thought they could do whatever they want to do. And then on top of that, you had poor requirements for the management of that dock, right? Because I thought that the boat was affiliated with, I thought there was like a, how should I put it? I thought there was like a structure or some sort of building that was associated with that dock, and then the boat was tied to that, and there were like rules and chains of command in that. But it doesn't seem like that was the case. It seems like, it's this port, it's this dock, people buy tickets to get on this boat to go around and get a tour. And it seems like everything, it seems like it's an independent like company. I don't know. I have to look up and get the facts on that. But when I listened to the police chief and that like give that report, everything just kind of started like going, like all these light bulbs started going off in my head. Like I was asking specific questions, like, was that little boat allowed to be there? If not, who's in charge of making that little boat move, and then is the dock even properly marked? Like, are there markings that say, hey, look, this boat or the big river boat supposed to park here? And if so, where's the paper trail that shows the documentation that shows that that boat's supposed to be there? Because the boat was supposed to be there, right? Per law, per whatever, that big boat is supposed to be there. But the markings, the demarcation, like how all that was laid out was per the police chief. He said that the signs were blown away, or but it's just common knowledge that that's where that boat is supposed to park at, right? So seems like there was a lot of chaos, just poor requirements. People were just kind of like, hey, because he even said in the report, he said, we have to come up with a better system of how to manage that port so that, this doesn't happen again. Right. So then on top of that, with the Riverboat thing, the co-captain, the co-captain that was the one that threw up the hat, what was his role and responsibility, right? Per documentation, right? So me personally, I don't think that was even all defined. I think that, there's this business, there's this boat, people making money. We know that we are here. We got the legal documentation. We got the legal papers to park this boat here. All is good. But, when you have outlying cases like this, where you got some privileged white drunk motherfuckers out here in a little boat, it's okay. What's my responsibility as the co-captain of this boat, right? And I'm pretty sure that that in the requirements for the job, it didn't say, hey, your job is to get out and to move boats, right? So that leads me into my next this leads me into my next thing, right? Into my next little area, right? So when it comes to like black people, and myself included, I feel like, we overdo our jobs unnecessarily at times, like there was an incident out here in Beverly Hills where you had some individuals break into a Gucci store and steal a bunch of stuff, and they ran out. There was a security guard that came out, and there's like videos and memes of this dude. He like ran out the store, but he wasn't trying to stop them. He just basically it looked like he was getting a head count, right? And just trying to get a description of who came in the store and stole all that stuff. So, and then in the videos, in the clips, basically everybody was like, yeah, the security guard did his thing. Like, you don't own nothing in Gucci. You just work there. So he just watched them steal it all and go run out. To me, he did what he's supposed to do, right? Or I don't know, because I didn't go back to the store to watch him do the rest of the paperwork, but I'm assuming that he ran out to get a description of those people, came back in, gave the information to his managers or whoever, filed a police report, give my check, right? That's how that, when it comes to us like doing our job, we got to learn how to just do our job and keep that shit moving. Like, I work with so many people, and this has been the common theme with black people throughout history, right? We think that if we defy the odds and do extra and become the magical Negro, that we're gonna be accepted and get promoted the way we should get promoted and get the money. And nah, that's not how this shit work, right? And I'm tired. I'm getting sick and tired of seeing that same cycle happen over and over again, right? You get a job. The purpose of the job is to do the job that purpose of your job, or the purpose of the job, or you working a job, is to do what's required of you to get the check and then go the fuck home, right? All this extra shit, gotta let that shit go, I had a coworker of mine a few jobs ago. She worked late, you know what I'm saying? One day I went and I was working late one night, and I happened to see her in the Bay Area, not Bay Area, California, but in her cubicle, and she was crying. I was like, yo, why you crying? And she was like, oh, my team, they won't invite me to happy hour. They keep leaving me out of events and yada, yada, yada. And they keep doing this. And I was thinking to myself, like, why do you care? Like, you know what I'm saying? I know that's harsh, but whether I go to this happy hour or not, I get paid the same amount. Like, I'm there to get this fucking check, And if you're there for other reasons, then maybe you got to really reflect on that, right? And really look at why you're at a job, And if you're at a job, and if you're there for reasons other than to do what's required of you to get a check, then you need to probably look for another job. It's that simple. I know that's harsh. People don't like hearing that, but you got to know why you're going to work. So I don't want to get hung up on that. The reason why I bring this up is because the co-captain, right? I see a lot of people, and it's funny. I'm not gonna lie, this shit was funny, but a lot of people are using the co-captain throwing up the hat as the bat symbol or as the bat sign, right? And it's like, excuse me, it's like, why? It's like, here's the thing, right? What is the job of the co-captain? I don't know, right? I'm not looking at the requirements of what the job of the co-captain is, but I'm pretty sure too that, him getting a ferry boat to go to the dock to try to convince the people to move their boat down, that's not part of his job description. Right? And then, some people are saying, oh, well, that boat's supposed to be there, so he needs to move the boat down so, the boat can get there, right? Some people were even saying that if the boat was not supposed to be there, that he could just untie it and let the boat go drift downstream, right? And that's not a good solution, because what if that boat goes downstream and runs into something and destroys something to prevent the bigger boat from even going down to even start the tour, right? You got to think about shit like that. So, I think all in all, I think in addition to dealing with white privilege people, I think that the requirements for like the dock, the rules of who's supposed to be where, how things are supposed to be escalated, and the individual roles of the people on the boat were poorly defined, right? So when all of that stuff gets mixed up in a pot, you get a mess like we had on Saturday. The captain of the boat called the police, and he already like called, and the police, and I think from what the police report said, or what the police chief said, is the captain called and said that there was a disturbance and the urgency was low at that point. And I think this was like 45 minutes after the fact, right? So to me, I'm like, one of the requirements I would add to the job description is, there's somebody blocking that port as you come in, you call the police right away, because time is of the essence. You got to get people off the boat, and you got to get more people on the boat so you can keep the business, so you can keep everything moving, right? So that was like a little odd to me, right? But it's like the co-captain went above and beyond, and I don't think he like he may, like, here's the thing, I can't speak on what I don't know because I wasn't there and I don't have all the details. But what I do know, or what I'm pretty confident in, is that there was probably nothing in his job description that said his job is to untie boats and move them down so the big boat can fit there, right? I don't think that's in his job description. As the co-cap, but like I said, I'm not saying he was wrong for doing it. I'm saying black people, going back to the whole Rasheed Wallace thing, you got to do what's in the rules per the book. And then if things aren't working, escalate, and then escalate those things to a certain point to where legally all your actions are justified. So people can't come back and say, well, you weren't supposed to do this, or, oh, you weren't supposed to do that, right? And I know it sucks, but that's how you got to operate. That's how I operate in my job every day. When I'm dealing with my job, everything can be traced back to an email, right? I'm an expert at covering my ass. Every move I make, I can show proof that I followed the rules of the company, and I can point to shit, and I throw my hands up at the end of the day, right? So if something happens or something doesn't get done, I can go point to something and say, look, I notified this person, I did this per the rules and regulations of the company. Hey, go talk to the next man, right? Oh yeah, and by the way, give me my check, Because like I said, I have a one-track mind when it comes to work. Do my job so I can get my check. All right. So Now let's talk about the hat throwing bat symbol thing, right? Like, it was funny, it looked funny, but come on, man. When you're engaging someone in a fight and you throw your hat in the air and you make this big gesture and you throw your hat up in the air and your hat is way up in the air, your body's exposed, right? Like, and if you saw when he threw his hat up in the air, that's when Hillbilly number one, like, came on the attack, right? He was like, okay, cool, he's open, I can go make my move, right? Like, if you think that that danger is imminent, you got to be tight. You got to keep everything in tight, and be ready to react. But when you all hat up in the air, body all exposed, motherfucker, you open. So, even though it was funny and people are trying to say, okay, this is now the official rallying cry or the bat symbol for all black people to unite, I'm like, okay, y'all can do that, but just know that when you do something like that, you leave your body exposed to danger, And when you get into here's the thing, right? When you get into a fight or a scrap, you got to know why if you're going to jump into a fight, you got to know why you're jumping in that shit. Right? You got to know why you're jumping in that shit. Like, what is your objective? What are you trying to do? Right? Cuz I feel like a lot of people fight out of emotion. Like, they fight because they want to have a release. Like, I don't like how, man, I had a bad day at work last week, and oh yeah, my girl did this, or my dude did this, and this happened, and oh, I'm mad. I just want to let some steam off. That's not the reason to fight, man. All right? Like, if you guys know anything about the Sun Tzu art of war, you don't fight for pride. You don't fight for emotion, right? You fight for tangible gain. You fight for something where you can show why you fought, right? Like, fuck feeling, I know it's hard, but that's what, like, we have to do better. I had to train myself on that, like I said, I can probably count on one hand how many fights I've been in my whole life, but I know now where just if I fight out of emotion, it's like I know it's not going to end well, either way. Even if I win the fight or whatever, there's a lot of ground or a lot of areas where I could mess up. So that's like rule number one, man, is if you're going to jump into a fight, know why you're jumping into a fight, and then don't jump in on emotion. Number two, right? Man, shout out to the young brother that jumped in the water and swam over, to go see what was up, right? That was dope, things were taking too long. The young boy that worked on the boat was part of the crew. I'm pretty sure he saw the co-captain get in the ferry to go over and saw stuff was going on. When he saw he was getting ganged up on, that young brother jumped in the water, swam over. That was a dope move, right? Used to be commended. That was called thinking on your feet. And it took a lot of heart, man. Like, a lot of people don't have the heart to, like, do something like that, So he jumped in because he saw what was going on with his fellow coworker. So, like, originally I thought that was a security guard on the dock, but come to find out, they both worked on the same boat. So of course, if you're staff, you work with each other, you know who's around who, and you're gonna look out for each other. Take a sip of my tea right quick. If you have any thoughts or comments, put them in the comment section, man. Put them in the comment section so we can talk about it, So we can, because I might be at fault. I might be in error. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just telling you what I see, and I'm trying to make sense of everything that I'm seeing so we can grow and evolve as people, right? So I like the actions of, I think people are calling him Scuba Gooding Jr. I like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he saw a fellow coworker in danger and went to go see what was up with his coworker, right? Now I know I contradicted myself, that's not in the job, and that's not in the job requirements of a job to go and look after your coworker or to go defend your coworker. But if you work with someone every day, you're at least going to go see what's up, you know? So back to the whole Rasheed Wallace thing, right? Like when it comes to black people, we have to be careful of every step that we make. It's not fair. I know it's bullshit. I don't like it. You don't like it, but that's just the way it is, you know? So when you jump into a fight, right? Because I've been in a brawl before. Yeah, I've been in a brawl. I've been in a football. So back when I was younger and when I played football, we got in a big brawl with the other team. People out there swinging helmets, you know, and coaches were fighting, throwing stuff. Like it was an all out mess. But as I've taken time to reflect on that situation, what I've learned is that, you know, when you jump into a fight, you gotta like make sure that you've been attacked, right? If you're a black person, like this all goes back to the Rasheed Wallace stuff, right? Is when you jump into a fight, you have to make sure that it can be demonstrated or shown that you had the right to act the way that you acted, right? So for example, if I see a friend of mine getting attacked or whatever, my first move is I'm not going to go and attack the person that's attacking my friend or the person I know. I'm not doing that. Why? Because I'm black. And then they could be like, hey, you assaulted this person, right? Because that person did nothing to me. I know it sounds fucked up. I know it sounds twisted. That's why it's called Trippin with Theobold. But when you black, we are the Rasheed Wallaces of the United States, right? So you got to know that when you do something, every move you make is going to be looked at under a microscope. So my first move, I saw a friend of mine or someone that I knew getting attacked by one person or a group of people. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run down and I'm going to get between my friend and the assailants, and I'm going to put my back towards my friend. So that way the assailants are coming at me, and I'm going to try to hold them back and be like, hey man, what's going on? Why y'all, hey, chill, just chill. Like, what are y'all doing? You know? Now, if they're like throwing all sorts of racial epithets at me, or they don't care and they start swinging at me and they touch me, now I have the go ahead to go defend myself, right? So you want to make sure that when it's on camera, you can say, oh, well, I got in to protect my friend. And when I got in to protect my friend, they came and they swang at me. So I took that as an attack towards me. So now, since that was an attack towards me, I went to go defend myself, right? That's how I try to think about things. So that way, if it's on camera, that the cop can't be like, oh, well, you just jumped in and you start hitting people randomly. Nah, I came in, I had a strategy. I knew what my goal was. My goal was to protect my friend. I got between my friend and this person came running at me. I told him, hey, I tried to make sense of the situation. I tried to calm them down. When they swung and they hit me, bam, I got them right back with equal. But of course, you got to make sure it's with equal, or equalish force, right? Like here's like, I'm no damn scientist, right? Like I'm not gonna say, oh, this person mushed me, so I gotta mush him back with the same force. Nah, you put your hands on me to do any type of harm. If I don't know what your objective is, my goal is to neutralize the threat. All right. So when you jump into a fight, just like I said, make sure you have reasons for your actions in this shit, because they're gonna be looking at us a whole lot harder. So the reason I bring that up, we got to talk about the chair warrior, right? A lot of people are like praising the chair warrior. The chair warrior picked up a folding chair and started just whacking people. You know what I'm saying? And from the video I saw, like I said, I didn't watch all there might be an angle I didn't see, but from the video I saw, the dude with the chair wasn't currently getting attacked. He may have got attacked before, or somebody may have pushed him or said something to him. But from the video I saw, he picked up a chair, ran towards one of the hillbillies that was in the fight with the other dude, whacked him, and then went to like not the old lady, but the white lady that was sitting down, and then whacked her on top of the head, and people were laughing and praising that. I'm just glad that like I said, I'm glad nobody got seriously hurt in this or killed in this situation, because, you know, even though the chair warrior had good intentions, you know, he gotta be smarter about that. Y'all can call me a coon, y'all can call me all types of whatever you want to call me, man. But when you are black in this country, you cannot just get up and do willy-nilly out of emotion. You got to think, right? If you are going to defend somebody, or if you're going to jump in a fight, make sure you know how to put yourself in a position to where you're being attacked, so that way you're defending yourself, right? But you can never be you can't be black and be in the offensive in a situation, because they're going to look for every rule to throw at you with the rule book. All right. So yeah, so those are things that, you know, you got to be mindful of. So to go back and to reiterate, right, just some of my main points. I know I was kind of all over the place, but, you know, it is what it is. It's a messy situation. Like, we're never going to, like, we're not Doctor Strange, right? Like, we don't have the ability to see time and all the possibilities and all the options to say, okay, well, let's do this and let's act in this manner. No, all we can do is take this situation, learn from it, and get better, right? There's always improvement. There's always room for improvement. All right, so let's go back over the rules of engagement again, right? I know I said a lot, but I'm gonna put these in bullet form so y'all know, like, what my rules of engagement are. All right. Number one is you want to keep emotion at a minimum. If you can eliminate emotion, eliminate it, but just keep emotion at a minimum, because because emotion clouds your judgment in certain situations. I know a lot of times it's hard, which is why I said to try to minimize it. I didn't say to eliminate it, but try to keep it at a minimum. Number two, always try to de-escalate a situation. Always try to de-escalate a situation, right? So if you see people getting ready to fight, or if you see whoever getting ready to fight, you know, your job is, if you see people that you know, or people that look like you, your best bet is to, in order to de-escalate that fight or that situation, is to jump in. Make sure there's no weapons involved, right? Because if there's weapons involved, that's a whole nother ball game. But if there's no weapons involved, you know, hop in between, put your back towards the person you're trying to protect, and try to put your arm out to say, hey man, you know, hey, what's going on here? Can we talk about this? Try to de-escalate the shit. You know, if the situation can't be de-escalated and someone, you know, is coming at you, and you now become the target, make sure that, you know, that an aggressive move is made towards you first to justify you defending yourself. And then when you defend yourself, don't try to like make a point. Don't try to prove nothing. Try to how should I put it? Try to neutralize the threat as quickly as possible. Just neutralize it, right? Because you don't want to be back and forth tussling, because now that just makes things a whole lot muddier, right? Like if you can get like if someone's coming at you and they're coming at you with aggression, and you ducking and dodging stuff, and they're still coming at you, if you can give them a chin shot to sit them down, do it. But try to like keep that shit to a minimum. Excuse me. Well, let's see what else. And like I said, have an equalish amount of force with the response, right? Have an equalish, like if someone is coming at you and they, you know, they don't know what they're really doing. Like, here's the thing, right? This is why I don't like to fight, right? Because a lot of people fight to show off. They fight because they want to release some bad feeling, or they want to release some emotion. Like, it's like a pacifier, right? I don't fight for that, you know? I was in a situation when I was in college where I was trying to get to class, right? I was trying to get to class so I could turn in this lab assignment, and I was running late. I got in the elevator, and there was a guy that was in the lobby, kind of just hanging around. And he came into the elevator, and his whole MO was he was trying to slow me up. He was trying to just fuck with me. I don't know what it was. I never met this dude in my life before. He just came in the elevator and was like, hey, I'm trying to ruin this dude's day. So he called me all types of bitches and all types of, I'm a pussy and all this. I'm like, you know what? I'll be that. I don't give a shit. I'm trying to get to class, right? I knew what my objective was. I was focused. I was like, look, okay, I'm a bitch. Cool. I'm a bitch. Cool. Whatever. Right. Didn't care. I'm like, I'm trying to get to class. I'm trying to get to class so I can turn my assignment in, get this grade, get this paper so I can get out to school. So when he saw that he couldn't get to me, that's when he put hands on me and threw me down to the ground, and we started tussling. So when this dude started lunging at me, like he just wouldn't stop, like he was on the attack. Man, I had my Timberland boots on, and like I was kicking the shit out this dude in his face, man. I mean, every time I kicked this dude, blood was just like splattering. Like this shit was ugly. It was blood all over the place, I'm kicking this dude in his face. And the thing was I wasn't trying to show off. I wasn't trying to be no big tough guy, but he was interfering with me getting to class. And on top of that, he was a threat to me because he kept lunging at me, trying to attack me. So every time he lunged at me, it's gonna sound messed up. People can say what they want to say, but every time this dude lunged at me, with every kick that I kicked him with, I was trying to kick this dude's head slam the fuck off. That's why I don't like to fight, because when I get to a point where I'm being attacked, I go into a whole different overdrive mode. I go into a whole different gear. I'm not fighting for pride. I'm fighting to stop the shit. Right? There is no play fight with me. There is no in between. There is no fight fair. Like when I'm being attacked, I'm trying to end that shit as quick as possible. So that's why like I don't like physical altercation, because I know like I'm more afraid of me than anybody else, because I know once I get into a certain gear, it's hard to get out of that gear. All right. So anywho, make sure that, like I said before, or you don't got to do shit, but I'm just saying, eliminate, keep emotion at a minimum. Try to de-escalate the situation as much as you can. Know what you're jumping into. Know why you're jumping into a fight. If you're going to jump in, if you're trying to protect somebody, put your back towards them. Try to get in between you and the assailant. If the assailant is coming at you and now they're trying to make aggressive moves at you, now that gives you justification to defend yourself, right? But if you try to like sneak somebody from the back or get them with like a sucker punch from the back or the side, nigga, that's assault, So I'm just trying to put these things out here so people think when something like this, so when something like this happens again, people can get better and grow from this, right? Because it would suck if somebody did something to go help somebody else. They had good intention, but they jumped in and they struck somebody and then got like a manslaughter charge or some shit, and then had to go to jail. Like that would suck, So that's why, like, to me, this whole thing was a whole different, like the way I saw it, like I saw it through a whole different lens altogether. And what else, man? Like a lot of people aren't really talking about this, man. And I figure I'm gonna talk about it. But when you look at cops, right? Excuse me. The one thing I pay attention to is I pay attention to the behavior of Black people when they put on the police uniform, right? I really feel that when Black people put on the police uniform, they don't think they Black no more. They think they blue, And the reason I say that is because when the chair warrior was going around smacking people up with the chair, the one cop, because there was a black male cop, there was a Black female cop, and they basically saw it and they ran towards him. They're like, "Hey, look, now, you got to chill. Like, hey, come over here." They got him away, and it looked like the brother complied. Like, okay, my bad. He put the chair down, and the hands were behind his back or whatever. But then all of a sudden, you saw the Black officer throw the dude down on his chest, to put cuffs on him, and he was complying with the dude, right? Now I could see if he was trying to fight the cop or fight the officer, and they had to do that to get him down. But the fact that he was already complying, and then they threw him down and did all that, I thought that was very I thought that was very suspect, you know. So that's just something that like I always watch now. Like I watch for, like, a lot of people think that just because, you know, you see cops wearing black, or cops, just because you see black cops in uniform, now you feel safe. Now I'm like, nah, nigga. I feel, if anything, I'm more skeptical, because they think that with them putting on that blue that they ain't black no more, you know. So I hope people kind of point that out more and look at those two cops and look at the excessive force that was used, because all you hear about is in the police reports is the Montgomery, Alabama police, you know, or the mayor, or whoever that was, the police chief praising the work of the cops and how swiftly they got there and how they handled the situation. But when you have people that know they fucked up and you come to them and say, hey, look, man, you wrong, come over here, I have to arrest you or whatever, and you see a black dude putting his hands behind his back and he's complying, and then you basically trip him up and throw him on the ground, like, you know, face first. I'm like, bruh, come on, man. Like, he really got to explain that shit, you know? Like, that cop has to explain that to me, you know? I feel like, you know, a lot of police, I feel like they don't really have good rules of engagement. You know, I think that instead of them trying to de-escalate a situation, they just try to jump in, and they know that they got the law on their side. So that's why they have more free reign to go out there and do fuck shit, you know? But it is what it is. Let me see how I'm doing in DFS. Before we go any further, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell a friend to tell a friend, do all that fun internet stuff like the old people say. Let me see what else we got going on here right quick. So real quick, what's coming up? There will be a show next week. I'm going out of town this weekend. I have to go to New Mexico to handle some business, but I will be back. Hopefully my power will be on. Hopefully, you know, my AC work. Hopefully I ain't got to deal with no bullshit, you know. But I got that. And then coming up, episode 96, I'm going to keep reminding myself, but episode 96 is where I am going to do my first 688 edition, where I answer my question. And the first question that's being posed is, how did the 6888 get the name 6888? You know, what was the whole process for that? Right? Is there a 66? Is there a 6887? Is there a 6889? Who are they? I want to know, you know? So that's the next question. That's not next episode. That's episode 96, right? Excuse me. What else we got going on, man? We got football coming up. So I got a couple drafts coming up. So yeah, I'm looking at all the research right now, man. And it's, I think I'm going to use a different strat. Well, it was weird. Last year I won my draft. So I won one league that I was in. But this year I have a whole different strategy that I'm going to use. Really this year I'm really focusing on who to stay away from, right? Like, I already have my list of people that I'm staying away from. I got a list of people that I know I got to get. So yeah, nah. So, and you know what? I feel like the cat's got my tongue, because the people that I play with might come watch this channel and they might try to use my strategies against me. So what I'm going to do is, after my draft, I'm going to present the resulting teams from my draft. And when I present the drafts, or my teams that I've drafted, I will go through and do an analysis as to why I picked those teams the way I did, what my method is, and then we'll come back after the season and we'll see how that shit work, you know? But let me see how I'm doing in baseball right now, if I'm even doing anything at all. Not doing nothing. Okay, I'm in the middle of the pack. Still got, how much time do I got? I got 12 innings left, down by 40 points. Oh, come on, Francisco Lindor, really? Man, That's why I don't fuck with baseball, man. Like baseball fantasy, man, they be scratching players at the last minute, man. I hate that shit. Motherfucker was a last minute scratch. Oh no, he got hurt. Okay, never mind. I take that back. Oh nah, man, that was that bullshit. Nah. So this is why I hate fucking with fantasy baseball, man. Here's what happened, man. So Francisco Lindor, they had him like, so they had him with a green check mark, meaning that he was in the lineup, right? And I thought he was hurt. I thought he got hurt in the game, right? If you get hurt in the game, if you get hurt, to all the professional athletes out there, if you get hurt in the game while you're trying to get me fantasy points, I have mercy on you, right? I'm like, I get it. Shit happens, right? I'm not gonna be too upset. I'm just gonna be mad at the situation. But when they say they gonna play, and then last minute they say, nah, we're not playing, it's that bullshit, right? So the update for Francisco Lindor said Lindor will undergo an MRI on Saturday after being scratched from Friday's lineup against Atlanta with right side soreness. So he was warming up. They said, hey man, you good to go? You good to go? He said, yeah, I'm good. You good to go? You good to go? Yeah, I'm good. You good to go? You sure you good? Yeah, I'm good. And right when the game started, it was like, nah, I can't play, dog. Come on, man. You gotta cut that shit out, man. So anyways, that's that. My lineup is done. I ain't winning shit. Unless everyone else picked Francisco Lindor, which I don't think they did. So, I mean, I'm still in the middle of the pack, but when you have one whole player out that just doesn't play, it's like you're not gonna win nothing. So, and especially in baseball, because in baseball you can't get negative points, right? With basketball, you can end up with negative points. In football, you can end up with negative points. But in baseball, there's no negative points. So if you don't play and someone else does, then the probability of that other player getting positive points is great, you know? So it is what it is. Life happens. Thank y'all for tuning in for the 92nd episode of Trippin with Theobold. Remember, like I said, man, try to be peaceful. Try to love one another, you know, but remember the rules of engagement, you know, have a plan, right? Because just being emotional is not a plan. Have a plan, execute, move on, live life. So with all that being said, I'm out of here, folks. Peace. Yep. Trippin with Theobold.
Let's go.
Caliente.
Trippin. Yep. Trippin. Trippin. Trippin with Theobold.
Trippin with Theobold.